If you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. Nerds playing computer games and it's stadiums full of people watching them. It should not be interesting. It should not be captivating. And yet, more people watch the League of Legends World Final than watch the NBA Finals. That's crazy. When you're a little scrappy guy, you just want to prove yourself. You want to see how you stack up against the best people in the world. Hey, it's a nice place, nice place. And that's what makes it exciting. You're back with us here at the Oceanic Pro League for your Saturday. We're about to get into our game of the week, which is Avant Garde, taking on current ladder leaders, the Chiefs, a top-of-the-table 1v2 clash. My name is Michael Hingersing, and I'm joined here at the analyst desk by our in-house OPL analyst, Nathan Mendrix-Mendez, and also our special guest today, captain and support player, I should say, for Exile 5, Bradley T-Gun Seymour. Now, gentlemen, before we get deep into this game, there's something I want to talk about, which is our social media competition running right now. And there's been a lot of off-meta picks. Which unorthodox champion will be played next in the OPL? Tell us why. Hashtag I'mOPL. The top 5 most creative answers will win a mystery skin. And we talked about this going into game 1, but I just remind everyone, T-Gun, what's your thoughts?
I think if anyone guessed Renekton, they've already won.
Absolutely.
Right? But from there on, I don't know what to guess.
Yeah, but
I
what
really
do you
don't.
want to see? What's in your
I
heart?
want to see Blitz. I want to play Blitz.
Blitzcrank.
I want everyone
your
to
coach
enjoy
let you
it.
play it.
It's not very good. It's just not very good.
What are you talking about? It's not very good. It's excellent.
Yeah.
In the right hands, and you don't remain in your lane, and you just roam everywhere.
It's excellent when you just don't care about your duo partner.
Exactly.
That is a sweet hint for Soul Strikes, because you're playing Legacy tomorrow. Soul Strikes. First ban. Blitzcrank. Let's make it happen. All right? All right, let's get into this series. Chiefs versus Avant Garde. Now, the 30,000-foot view, Mendrix, let me start with you. Chiefs looking very strong. 4 wins on the trot. Where are the weaknesses on this team?
So it's really hard to say, or pinpoint them. Ceres himself said, I believe it is in the in the early game. That is their weak point. We can look to pick up an early lead that way and then go from there. But what's funny or interesting about it is that other teams have speculated it's actually in their macro play towards their late game. And if teams confused about where their weaknesses are specifically, then where do they lie?
Yeah, I would say it's consistency. That's what they've said. And if people think their weaknesses are in multiple places, if multiple teams have no idea, then it has to be a consistency issue. So I just wouldn't read too much into it. I would just try and be more consistent than they are, which really shouldn't be a hard ask if they think their consistency issue is
The other
what it
thing
is.
about consistency issues are unpredictable. So it's hard to go, well, we're just going to hope they're inconsistent this game, because it is by its nature. That's what the word means. Anyway, it's not important.
At this point, with how well Chiefs are playing, that's all you can hope for. Just hope that they don't hit you like a truck.
We just need to increase our consistency, continue winning 3 points close to almost every single. So it's definitely hard to say.
Absolutely. All right, well, let us get to it. Earlier today, I spoke to Chiefs captain Swiffer, and I started by asking him about his thoughts about AV's early game.
Well, first of all, I'm just going to quickly address what he said. I don't think we have a weak early game. I think we just have an over-ambitious early game, okay? And that just comes from years of defeating teams like AV. And what do I make of AV's early game? I think that they're just, like, very steady. They don't make a lot of really kind of, like, grand plays early game or anything like that to get them in the lead. I think they rely more on their mid-game to secure them an advantage.
Well, heading into today's match then, how confident are you guys feeling? Is this going to be a 2-0, and will anything less than that be considered not good?
I think, yes. I think the expectation that we hold ourselves to and the standard that we hold ourselves to means that anything less than a 2-0 will be a disappointment. We kind of only allow ourselves to kind of win 2-1 against what we consider like better teams than AV, like, to be blunt. So yeah.
Well, there we have it. Thank you so much for joining us and speaking to us, and best of luck in the game today.
Thank you.
Captain and mid laner for the Chiefs there, Swiffer, having a big old chuckle about his opponent's AV. So let's see if AV can wipe that smile off his face. But let us go right now to the guys who are getting ready. Let's take a look at the Chiefs. Just looking very comfortable and confident. Raze there, very intent. And their lineup, their top lane is going to be Swiper. Spooks, their jungler. Their mid laner and captain Swiffer, who we just spoke to. Raze is their AD carry. And their support player, Ejim. Mr. Jimenez himself. And when you look at these guys, Mendrix, like you said, maybe consistency is their only weakness. Certainly the only one that they've called out and said themselves.
It just seems to be one of those cases where maybe they're trying to compare themselves to other, maybe not the teams in the OPL specifically, but perhaps they're comparing themselves to international teams when they look at it in terms of our consistency is just not where we want it to be right now. And is that more of them sort of putting themselves at a higher notch, at a different level? That could possibly be the case. But if their main concern is consistency, then maybe they do need to sort of clean up that overzealous early game.
All right. Well, earlier today, I also spoke to their opposing captain, Jake, support player for Avant Garde, and I started by asking him if after 3 wins, he felt like Avant Garde were the best team in the league.
No, definitely not. I think we've had one challenge in Legacy, and I think we faltered pretty hard. It was our first week. So this should be our real first challenge, and I'm excited to play.
All right. Well, this week also sees the release of 7.3 into competitive. I want to get your thoughts, especially in your role, which is support. Zyra and Malzahar have received small nerfs. Give us your thoughts on that, and will these changes impact competitive a lot?
I think they won't be first pick, but I think they're both still useful. Zyra's obviously a plant thing. It's like they attack the closest target now, and Malzahar's Voidlings, they just spawn a little bit later, so she can't block skill shots. But I think they'll both still be useful for sure.
All right. Well, finally, give us your assessment of the Chiefs as opponents. AV Top Laner Series spoke last week on the desk and said that he was going to look to exploit their early game. What do you make of that? Have you guys been doing research into this particularly?
Yeah, they haven't looked too impressive this split in their early game. They faltered a little bit against Abyss last week. They left a lot of room for error, and Abyss punished that quite a bit, which is not what you'd expect from the Chiefs. So yeah, we'll definitely look to punish them topside and hopefully get a good matchup for series.
All right. Well, best of luck in the match, and thank you for speaking to us.
Cheers.
There we are, team captain Jake there, seeming to admit that they're not the best team in the league, but as they are currently ranked second, I guess you can't really disagree with that for now. But let us take a look at the guys as they are getting ready in our studios. This is Team Avant Garde, or Avant Garde, as they like to be pronounced. The top laner series. The jungler, Chelby. Triple in the mid lane. Their AD carry, Blinky. And finish off the Bash Bros, it's Jake, their support player and captain who we just spoke to. And Mendrix, looking at this team, I mean, these guys, like I said, is it that they have found form in the last 3 weeks, or like Jake said, they've had one test in Legacy. You know, they faltered on that. This is the first big test for them since then.
Definitely is a real challenge for them now, and it's sort of, if they want to continue this hot streak that they've been on, they need to topple the top of the ladder. So you could say the Chiefs really are the heat check right now for this team.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with Jake. He said they haven't been tested since their Legacy series, and I agree. And I think that this is going to be a real rude wake-up call, because to be really blunt, the Chiefs are better in every lane. And I include top lane in that. I don't think Ceres is some wonder boy who's going to come and dethrone the Kings. And across the map, Chiefs are just strong everywhere else as well.
Well, let's take a look at the series show, as people have been referring to it, because that top lane that you speak of, Swiper versus Series, I mean, you say that Swiper's out-laning and outplaying Series, but you look at the stats, and Mendrix, I mean, Series seems to be kind of dominating.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that right there, he's amazing on paper. He's up in terms of his KDA. He's got more kill participation, higher CS per minute. That means he's really nailing his roles in terms of making sure he's picking up CS better in terms of doing that over Swiper, and he's been playing a bigger role in the team in general, making sure that he is there. And this is across all 4 weeks.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say is anyone who has looked into any sport and just studied hard on statistics, or I believe watched the movie, I believe it's called Moneyball, will know statistics do not mean everything. While they do tell a story, they don't tell the whole story. Swiper has less stuff to his name because he's more team-oriented, whereas Ceres is allowed to be that wonder boy against the, quite honestly, weaker teams where he's allowed to run rampant. And I don't think the stats really show you the whole story there.
Tegan, can I pick you up on something? The movie Moneyball is specifically about how stats are everything, and it's about how you can best efficiently afford those stats.
Yes, but the team still didn't win, even though they were playing perfectly to the stats, did they? Did they?
It's true. You're very correct. Look, I just don't want to have like wrong analysis of films on this desk. Obviously. All right. Well, there's also been a lot of chat in the last couple of weeks about weak early game from the Chiefs. Now, I was a bit skeptical about this, so under the brilliant tutelage of our narrative meeting, I went through and I looked at the stats, and obviously this is not automatically taken out. I had to go through, and when you look at the last 3 series from the Chiefs and you take out that first 10-minute gold lead, I mean, it's looking pretty strong.
Oh, it's looking absolutely strong. And just for all you guys out there, that friendly face, that is Vault, their coach. And if you look at it in terms of everything, they're always up in gold at that 10-minute mark. Another thing to really look into is they've actually got amazing proactivity in the early game. We're talking 90% for the first tower and 80% for first blood. That means they're either forcing people out or getting the kill and then getting the tower afterwards.
And I think if you want to really talk about statistics, that one lends credence to Swiper being more team-oriented. Generally, when you're getting first tower, it's a team goal. It's not just a lane overrunning its opponent. So maybe that is where his focus is instead of just on his own.
Yeah, really coming from those teleport players, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing about those gold stats is between 10 and 15 minutes, their average gold lead grows from 800 gold to 2k. So that's like 5 minutes where they're just doubling their gold lead.
Yeah, they're just a great team at really finding a weakness, poking, and just making the opponent bleed out.
All right. Well, hashtag IamOPL. Let us know your thoughts on who is going to win this. You can follow along also on Twitter and other social media. And you can also tip, opltips.com.au. Get involved because we're going to show you who is tipping this. And my goodness, Chiefs, despite AV's recent form, Chiefs are well out in front. That is a big oldie. That is obviously a 90% lead. And I would say more than half the people there, if I can read that correctly. I think it's going to be a 2-0 to the Chiefs. But gentlemen, you're on this desk, and we don't go to this game until you give us your predictions. So, Mendrix, let me start with you. Who's winning this, and by what margin?
So, like I said before, it's the heat check for Avant. Well, Chiefs are the heat check. Right now, Avant are trying to throw a ball from halfway court to get that 3 points. So, it's going to be very hard for them to do that specifically. I'm just going to say 2-1 to the Chiefs.
All right.
I'm going to go 2-0 to the Chiefs. With the quick mention that if it was basketball, surely they wouldn't win, as we've seen the Riders gave them a good run. But I just really don't see AV having any strengths that the Chiefs can't match.
Well, I think I tipped a 2-0 to the Chiefs as well, so I'll stake my claim next to yours, T-Gun. That is enough from us here at the analyst desk. Let us get into game one with our casters, Spawn and Fish.
Thank you very much, Hingers. As Spawn decides he wants to bump me out of the frame, I'm Matt Fish Stewart, and as I just said, this is Jake Spawn to be. And you know what? I agree with you, Tegan, but it's not basketball, unfortunately, so the Chiefs can't just get dunked on again. It was pretty easy in those matches.
To be fair, if we ever had to play the Chiefs in League of Legends as a casting team, we would suck.
What are you talking about? I bopped Swiffer in solo queue. That's all right.
You talk such a big game.
Then got carried by the rest of my team and Rusty, but you know what? It's all right. We are heading into Champion Select for the match of the week here. Chiefs taking on Avant Garde. Chiefs still undefeated. They have dropped a couple of maps, but that's about it.
Yeah, and just want to go back to something that Hingers touched on. The Chiefs have a 900 gold lead at 10 minutes on average. I think it actually goes out to 3,000 gold. I don't think he gave him enough credit. I think it jumps up 2,100 gold in 5 minutes. And what that actually means is that the Chiefs are so good at whittling down multiple parts of the map and winning multiple lanes that finally when they get that breaking point between 10 and 15 minutes, they pick up a team fight, they pick up Dragon, they're able to rotate around the map and quickly accumulate outer turrets. And what Avant need to do to win this game is actually stand up in the landing phase and not get overpowered as so many teams do by the Chiefs.
I do like something they said earlier, though. This is a huge check for Avant Garde. This is their time to try and show the world that they are one of the top few teams. If they can take down the Chiefs here, it's massive confidence boost for them, and they can finally get an upset onto the currently undefeated team.
I mean, we're only 5 weeks in. I honestly think if they take a game off the Chiefs in convincing fashion and are, competitive the rest of the time, as Swiper has a nice new haircut, picked that one up on, I think, Tuesday afternoon, so shout out to Big Swips, then that is going to be... He put it on Snapchat,
That's a
mate.
very accurate time frame to me, knowing where he got his...
Anyway, I think that is what AV should be targeting. If they get the all 3 points, that's fantastic, but it's about being competitive, showing they can tangle, with the Chiefs, the Direwolves, and Legacy. Because last time against Legacy, it was not pretty.
Yep, it certainly was not. For now, their bans have been completed for the first match. Malzahar, Camille, and Jace are going to hit the bench here for the Chiefs, obviously still respecting the Camille despite the nerfs. Graves, LeBlanc, and Rengar are going to be banned out by AV. Lots of Graves bans since the lethality changes.
Yeah, 100%. And both Spooks and Shelby will pick up Graves if they're able to get him. Varys and Jin being traded right now, that's no big surprise.
Nope.
two of the premier AD carries, especially for the utility as well as the damage for lethality.
I mean, with the nerfs to a couple of the really powerful champions, we actually do not see as many Varus bans anymore. We saw a couple of them thrown around last week. Kha'Zix has been left up, and I believe it is the first match where we haven't seen Kha'Zix first picked.
If someone go back and lip read that, what happened when Blinky first got the camera shown to him? Tweet at Rusty or let us know what happened. Because I reckon there was something there. I reckon there was a subliminal message. Continue. What were you saying?
Hang on. No, wait. Now I need to go back to my train of thought. It was something about Kha'Zix. Okay, yes. Something about... I believe it's one of the first times we haven't seen Kha'Zix picked up during one of the first 2 pick rotations.
Yeah, certainly is the case. And, you know, given the fact that Shen has just been taken, I would expect Spooks to take Kha'Zix here. Because Shen Kha'Zix is such a potent combo to be able to get access to that backline, especially when they are fairly immobile in the likes of the Karma as well as the Jhin.
Yep. The Chiefs really taking their time here. And so they go for the Ivan. That's going to get locked in nice and early for Spooks. He wants to make some friends today, not enemies.
Certainly does. I mean, that means that they have to be able to get engaged from elsewhere. Is it on Ejim's support pool? I mean, maybe a Braum or something like that being taken into the Blinky and Jake lane. Potentially, you can also get a little bit more aggressive in the mid lane. Can't really think of anything off the top of my head that affords any kinds of initiation, apart from maybe like Echo. We'll see him again. Who knows? Not really. So yeah, that's interesting to go with Shen and not an aggressive jungler.
We'll have to see what Chiefs decide to round out their team comp, though. Avant Garde decide to go for the Rek'Sai lock-in. So Kha'Zix not seeing any play during this match, and they go for some mid lane bans of their own. Cassiopeia taken away right off the bat.
Yeah, and we'll see whether that's followed up by a Rise ban. Generally, if you want to get rid of Cassio, you want to get rid of both machine gun mages. Swiffer definitely shown more proficiency on the Cassio, I think it's fair to say.
Triple has been stepping up lately for Avant Garde in the mid lane. Didn't have a very promising few early performance in the OPL.
Coach Volt, a little bit less vocal in the background than what we normally see out of him. Obviously asking one of his players whether they want to play against a Fiora in the Shen matchup and letting Swiper have his say. So pinch on your screen. Pretty vocal.
Chiefs might be having the draft going the way they absolutely wanted to. 2 very powerful picks being picked up. Ejim will be very happy that Karma was picked up by Avant earlier on. He's not going to be forced to play that champion again. Like you mentioned, Fiora being banned now. I believe over the past 2 weeks, 100% banned during the second ban rotation. Syndra is the final ban from Avant Garde, so that Rise is up and available if the Chiefs want it.
And that would give him priority versus Triple. I mean, Cassio and Syndra, the 2 champions that really are able to punish Rise, I feel. Of course, LeBlanc's also really strong. And it's the Chiefs that take away Rise, so they agree because they don't want Triple to pick it up.
Yep. And that makes sense of the Cassiopeia ban now.
So what else do they go towards? I mean, Orianna is available. Orianna as well as Rek'Sai. Always been a great combination. Able to send the Rek'Sai in with a flash unburrow, be able to knock everyone around with the Orianna if that's what you're looking towards. Corky. I love Jake. He's like, I'm going to death stare the camera. And then we stay on him for like too long and he smiles in the end. Like, oh, there it is. Ooh, eyes of a killer. He has an adorable golden retriever.
Kobe would be proud of Jake today. Well, hopefully they'll be even prouder if they can take down the Chiefs. But Corky is going to be picked up for Triple. And the Chiefs, they're going to be able to pick up Zyra.
Definitely not engage on support, so we're still looking for the engage on the Chiefs squad. Yep. Of course, the Chiefs are big fans of the fact that if you play a composition perfectly, you don't necessarily need engage or, you know, a tank, something like that. It's got a feel of a poke comp right now.
No way.
No, yes way. He's a huge Anivia player. Historically, one of his best champions. Twisted Fate Anivia.
I mean, it would be great. Just want to see if he actually does lock it in. That man on your screen, the last pick for the Chiefs at the moment. Ejim will be able to pick up his champion. And then Avant do have the counter pick of their choice. It will be their top laner they'd send up. My goodness, they're going towards Zed. That gets locked in the mid lane for Swiffer.
Yeah, so Swiffer goes with the Zed pickup, which is pretty much a gauntlet thrown at Triple. I mean, Triple going to be able to harass freely in this lane. However, it is potent. That would be interesting. Running Tryndamere into a Shen, I don't feel like is a good pick.
Nice,
and Swiper was very vocal that Tryndamere sucked at the moment. He said if it was good, he would be playing it. It's not good.
And that's running Tryndamere into Swiper as well. This should be swapped over. And Gangplank has been locked in for series in the top lane. Yo-ho-ho!
So Gangplank I like at the moment. I mean, the Trinity Force into Youmu's, into Sterix is such a potent build. If you ever hit the backline with a barrel, you absolutely destroy them. The ult lends global relevance to the top lane champion, and he just scales so well. So if you don't force him off farm, he's always going to be relevant at the latter stages of the game.
Kind of helps even out the globals as well. I mean, Rek'Sai's the semi, Corki does once in a while, but then when Stand United comes out, you pop the big old Gangplank ultimate and teleport down as well. Helps out your team a little bit more.
However, this does mean that only Chelby is a tank. And we know that Spooks on the Ivan likes to dictate the pace at which jungle is played and take away camps. So if Chelby ever falls behind in this game, they're going to be running tankless into the Chiefs. And I think that AV do kind of need a more of a front-to-back style. Their bottom lane has been so successful in recent weeks. Top lane obviously playing well, triple a little bit up and down, but I feel like this composition specifically puts so much pressure on Chelby to perform in the jungle.
It certainly does, and the Chiefs, like you mentioned, are running with the double tank, or even more of the supporty tank to kick things off. But their bottom lane packs a punch with damage, and so does the mid lane assassin of Zed being picked up here. So they've got a little bit of everything. Still kind of lacking the engage coming out from the Chiefs, but they do have some ways to do it.
The other thing I want to point out, and maybe this is an oversight in the draft, is that Gangplank is bad against Zed. Like, his oranges do absolutely nothing. He has no way to be able to get away. So as soon as you're death marked, he doesn't really have an escape, a dash to get over walls, things like that. So if the Chiefs open up mid lane early and can get that Zed into a side lane, swap him with the Varus, then AV need to dodge the matchup because it's incredibly hard to win if you are the GP.
Yeah, it certainly is. We'll have to see if Series can take control of that top lane, but he is up against Swiper. Going to be a very difficult one, and then if he can deal with Swiffer, it's packed Ignite to Summoner's Rift. Speaking of Summoner's Rift, we are on to the Rift for the first match between Chiefs and Avant Garde. But before we kick off the action, let's check in with Hingers, who's with Vault.
Thanks, guys. I am joined here by coach of the Chiefs, Vault. And I want to start by asking you about the Zyra pick. Obviously, Zyra picked up a bit of a nerf in 7.3. Did that affect your decision to play her at all? Were you less likely to?
Zyra's obviously a lot worse after this patch. There was quite a big change with the plants, how they aggro champions. But I still think she's good enough in lane to warrant picking. It's not as good anymore. You don't just like pick her early like you used to. But I think it's still warranted when you've got a good lane for it.
All right. Well, also your mid lane Zed has been seeing a lot more picks in the OPL and also globally. Is this something that's just a lethality buff? Let's get him in here, or is there something else going on?
It's the lethality buff plus the good lane matchup that Zed has into Corki. It's like very, very good after Zed gets 6. You can just run it Corki and kill him. And also Zed is just like a champion that's favorable for Swiffer as well.
All right. Well, best of luck in this game, and thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you.
There you go. Comfort picks coming out for Swiffer in the mid lane,
Yes.
and Zyra still being prioritized by them.
So not mentioning the matchup into the Gangplank, I think I'm going to get flamed so hard for this. I'm going to credit it to Legacy. I'm going to say Legacy were the first team that really started running the Zed into Gangplanks, and I'm going to say it was Choo Choo's last year that was just running around everywhere bopping Gangplanks in the top lane with the mid lane Zed. And now watch everyone explode and tell me I was wrong.
Well, if you think spawns are on, just tweet at Rusty Lol, let him know.
I feel sorry for Rusty because I actually think he's casting again today. Last time we did this to him, he was casting.
No, he's upstairs.
Oh, he's upstairs.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
He's just sitting there with his headset on. Nothing too much going on for him today. He's got his break.
It's good. Always nice to have a break. I mean, the LPL, pretty packed schedule.
Certainly is. But now that this game has gone underway, you can already see in the top lane, Series taking quite a bit of damage from Swiper, forced to pop it hot nice and early. Bottom lane, it's actually Ejim that gets takes some harass from Jake and Blinky, but they're all going to heal up nice and even here, and should be a farm fest for a while. Spooks started on the top side of the map, I believe, but walked over towards red and cleared that out with the smite first, so we'll get all 3 camps very early and hit level 3 nice and easy.
Yeah, and it's so strange to watch Ivan's path because you can see that this time around, Spook stayed on level 1 for such a long time. He just kind of strolled around the map. The series takes some pretty serious harass, no pun intended, fishery in the top lane.
Yeah, using the oranges quite late there, Series. So to take a few more auto attacks before that happen, and Spooks is on the top side of the map. It's a big wave that is crashing underneath this turret. There's a double buff Ivor, but he decides the dive is not worth it.
Yeah, because of the way oranges interact, and you know, I know lots of people know this, but quick League of Legends lesson, the less health you have, the more you get back from the oranges, as well as the fact that they remove CC, means that it's very hard to dive Gangplank unless you have 2 damage threats. So, you know, something like an Elise and Renekton, sure, I'm confident you could get it done. However, not going to be the same punch coming out of Ivan pre-6 when he doesn't have Daisy helping him out. So you understand why they didn't really want to commit to that one.
Yep. Ivan's going to use that time to go back to base and clear out his Raptor camp. Shelby spotting it out here.
Yeah, interestingly enough, goes for double control wards. We've seen this a lot internationally. Wanting to, on the current patch, ooh, that's a lot of damage to Jake. Shore up the weaknesses of the counter jungling that's coming out. If you can ever get access to someone's Raptors, put them on cooldown, it is so potent to be able to steal them away. So it's just something to continue to explore. The series actually fat fingers a keg there. Probably should have been an explosion onto Spiker. What? Hits him anyway. It's nice triple keg.
He's still down quite a bit of CS here. 13 CS behind. Swiper already forced to use the teleport. He went back and picked up a Cull. So he's in for the long haul. Spawn, he wants to be the biggest bank plaque he ever could.
That's actually a really bad shot. So on, of course, on the Gangplank, you want to go back and grab Sheen. That's why you start the greedy Mana Crystal. What that means now is when Swiper goes back, he's going to be so much tankier. And sure, eventually Series will be able to farm up, but right now he just can't actually fight Swiper because of how much stronger that Shen will be after his first back.
Well, Swiper's already used a potion here, has hit level 5, and that's with a wave pushing into him. Series yet to get 5 here. I want to see if he can at least push in this wave, try and chip down Swiper a little bit, and get a cheeky back in when Swiper goes for his teleport.
I mean, he can't because it's frozen. I mean, right now, Series can go nowhere, and that's a huge frozen wave. Unless he can clear out, and he's in like really big danger of being ganked. And you can see that's exactly where Spooks wants to head.
He's going for the extra damage with it. Sorry, the extra money with his parlays there, and Spooks is already in the top lane. This is not going to look good for Series.
There's a lot of creeps there as well, so might not be as bad as we think.
Ooh, takes the turret shot. Series is going to get rid of underneath the turret and gets taken down. Spooks will pick up first blood.
Yeah, so he actually runs into the turret, maybe looking for the flash over the wall. Really nice pathing out of Spooks, and it will be first blood picked up for the Chiefs. And this is something that they actually love to do. When teams, you know, Swiper's just a tank player, can't play anything else, they do like to remind the OPL that Swiper is considered the best top laner in the region for a reason. Very versatile. You can see that they had that perfectly frozen. Now Blinky in big trouble.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of damage. Ejimdo runs away from the creep wave, gets slowed down. Jake going to try and hold him up as well. Force the flash away. Good trade from Avant Garde's bottom lane.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Jake could have maybe even flashed for an auto attack there, but didn't want to overcommit. Instead, they get 2 summoner spells for absolutely nothing. So incredibly well played. Swiffer underneath the turret.
Trying to go toe-to-toe. Flashes on forward. Throws out the shuriken to take down Triple in a solo kill mid lane.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Shelby is just too late. Happy feet come out from Swiffer. Swiffer able to dodge out on that one. Solo kills always feel good, especially after last week. The shoe was on the other foot.
Now Avant Garde down in both of their solo lanes. 1,000 gold behind the Chiefs at the moment. And we'll talk a little bit how Swiper, very strong in the top lane, regarded as the best top laner in the OPL. He's gone back to base, picked up his Ninja Tabby, so Gangplank is going to be tickling.
And this is exactly where you want to be. Even though Shane's been picked up, all of a sudden, the harass out of the queue means nothing. You know that Gangplank's going to be forced to go on the lane, and you can just continue to fight him whenever you want.
Puts down the dodge field as well. Trying to force Series not to be able to do anything. He's going to get a little bit of gold from these parlays, but that's it.
Yeah, he does. He trades gold for mana. As you said, not a massive deal right now. But 18 CS still a pretty big advantage, and the fact that he's got priority in the lane and is able to shove up just means that Series is going to always be playing on the back foot.
And we talk a lot about how Swiffer and Spook synergize very well together. We've got as a couple of best duos in the OPL, but you can already see him. He can make his impact felt elsewhere on the map as well when he made a trip to the top lane. Series does go toe-to-toe there, but Swiper's still getting the better of those trades.
And because, I mean, Shen's resourceless. He's got the energy bar, means you have to be careful with how you navigate that one. As Spooks is back in the top.
He's got the Moby Brutes as well. Going to force the flash coming out from Series. Shelby is close by as well, but...
They go over. They actually want to fight this, potentially.
Don't think they really want to go for the 2v2 here.
I mean, Shelby looked like the call was, you need a recall, Series, back away and, like, let me push up the lane with you. However, Series doesn't seem to agree. Wants to catch this one underneath the turret.
There's quite a bit of CS for that. Jakey takes a bit of damage from the piercing arrows from Raze. Gangplank's still stuck farming underneath this turret, the top side of the map. Bottom lane, just been trading back and forth. Raze and Ejim are ahead slightly in CS. Looks very different from the Varus against Jim games we saw in the last match.
I mean, in the early laning phase, you would give the advantage to, I think, wow, I can't even speak at the moment. Zyra, as you're pointing at either side of the map. Yep, I knew the champion name, just couldn't make the words happen. So yeah, you would give the advantage to Zyra because she just brings a little bit more damage to the table. I mean, in team fights, especially if Karma can get some good slows. Oh, Spooks might need a flash here.
Yeah, he's going to have to flash out of this one. Just holding on for a while.
Yeah, searching for the right bit of the wall. Last thing you want to do is fat finger and guarantee that you die. So we'll go down. He did, however, manage to take the second blue buff away, which is going to be big, especially the fact that Triple doesn't have it and Swiffer does. Blue buff is actually very good if you're Zed. I mean, I know he doesn't have mana, but the added energy regeneration is just so potent. Cooldown reduction, always nice. And Raze actually grabs one, which means bottom is going to be a heck of a lot more oppressive.
So Spooks there with counter jungle that one away. So donates that one to the AD carry. That's going to be now difficult for Avant. Raze even picked up a nice and early tier, so he's just going to be spamming his Q every time it's back on the cooldown.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw him take the later shot. He did go for tier as well as the Dirk on his shot. I think that's just because he had more control over the lane than what we saw in the last series.
Yep.
So that makes sense. Looks like Swiffer might actually be donated double buffs as well as soon as Spooks gets back over there. Puts a lot of pressure on Triple in the mid lane. He's already been solo killed once.
Especially when he doesn't get a blue buff of his own. Difficult. Corki does have decent wave clear at level 6. As you can see there, he's able to farm from safe distance, but Swiffer doesn't care, doesn't take too much damage from minions anymore. We'll be able to push this one back up nice and easy. We take a trip to the top lane again. Levels have kind of evened out for now.
Here we
Still
go.
20 CS difference. Blinky not going to get jumped on there by Spooks, but he calls out Daisy as the Gangplank ultimate's going to come down as well. Spooks getting
in
locked
trouble.
down. Has to get the ultimate coming out from Shen, but Blinky's been locked down as well by Raze. Good talk coming out from Swipe, but the shields are not going to be enough. And Spooks gets that kill with the red buff.
And this is what we talked about. You could see that they tried to match global pressure with the Gangplank ultimate. However, still not really enough as the Shen does appear, able to get the Stand United in. They're going to be able to pick up first turret for it. And a weak early game, the Chiefs are up by 3,000 gold at 11 minutes.
And I mean, something that Teagle was speaking about on the desk there, the fact that Swiper's able to help out his team. Yes, they both have very similar kill participation, but he just helped his team get first brick there. Now teleporting back to the top lane, making sure Series can't do anything. He still doesn't have his teleport back off of cooldown.
Yeah, exactly right. So Series, unfortunately, able to join. You can see that Swiper with the Cinder, with all the other tanky stats, is just way too much right now for Gangplank to go toe-to-toe with. Can't shove him in, can't match the teleport. So map now opened up, and we'll see whether, like, normally it's one item. As soon as Zed has one item, you send him to a side lane, and he goes absolutely crazy. See whether the Chiefs wait for that one item to come through, or whether they just shove the Varus in mid lane now and continue to pressure that long lane.
We'll have to see what the Chiefs decide to do next. They're up in every single lane at the moment. 3 deaths for all the carries. 3 deaths split among all the carries of Avant. And as you mentioned, a 3,000 gold lead for the Chiefs. Swiper's going to head back to base and get a shot going in. He's about 500 gold up ahead of Series in this top lane.
And one more time, they're forcing the matchup. Series potentially has a free recall right now, but the Zed's heading towards the Gangplank with ultimate, with double summoner spells back available. You can see that Swiper is going to the long lane, and this is what we're talking about. He doesn't get any favors from his team. Longest lane in the map, hard to farm in. He's going to automatically push it because he's built Tiamat. Oh, Spooks, this is dangerous.
He's being jumped on by Chelby here. He is level 8 though. Seems like he doesn't care too much.
I mean, he also has the Varus here, so you can see just dancing around, being nice and happy.
Just taking a trip around Jungle Town here, Spooks.
Ooh.
As doesn't get stolen away. Series gets it.
Yep. However, you can see that Series going to go back to base and actually rematch up against the Shen. So definitely not wanting to go into that 1v1.
Swiffer does have his Yomu's Ghostway pretty farmed up on this Zed. Spook sitting in his back pocket as he is in the top lane. Calls out Daisy. They want to go for a dive here, Swan. They're on top of Blinky, putting a lot of damage down onto him. Misses absolutely everything. Daisy trying to get some work done on towards these two. Knocks them up, but will get taken down. Yeah, Chiefs try to go for the dive. They don't get anything out of it.
I mean, they don't really expend all that much, however. They did get an exhaust and all of this mid lane pressure, so still able to get some work done around the map. Isn't going to be a kill, you're right, but the pressure still exerted from the Zed. Nearly level 11, and now looking to run down. Oh no, that's actually just Spooks.
He's trying to run away. Puts up some brush.
How do you like this champion?
He is so amazing.
You can
He
see he
just
just took a
does
roam.
whatever he wants. Swiffer now trying to go 2-on-1. Takes down Blinky. My goodness, just deletes him from Summoner's Rift.
I mean, they thought that they could go toe-to-toe with him. He was just trying to take a ward. He didn't want to fight them, but as soon as they stepped up, more than happy to take the fight. Even though you had 2 members, you don't have exhaust anymore.
I mean, ward, 30 gold, kill onto Blinky, 300. That's 10 times better. You get the ward afterwards
Watching
anyway.
the enemy bottom lane's face while they get solo kill, 1v2 kill, priceless.
Series now still trying to go toe-to-toe against Swiper. Does have Chelby here, but Spooks is jumping on as well. There's the ultimate from Gangplank, not doing all that much. Chelby still trying to chase them down. Does have the red buff available for the Gangplank and the blast cone over the wall. Spooks and Swiper get back to safety.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see the coordination coming out as well. Shadow Dash takes him on the other side. Triple, you're dead. Ray's able to pick up that one. A couple of ultimates expended. Chiefs look like they came to play today, I think it's fair to say.
Yep, it certainly does. Chiefs don't look like they have a weakness at the moment going up against Avant Garde. And the team comp is doing really well into what AV have drafted in this game. Blinky, that's half your health. Ooh. Not looking good for them at the moment. And they'll be able to take down not only the top lane outer, just taking out Swiffer alone, but mid lane outer is going to fall as well.
This is what we're talking about. I think it was 11-ish minutes that they got the first turret of the game. By 15 minutes, all 3 outers down. They've been able to pick up more kills as well. The map is open. They have a great 1-3-1 composition. Everyone is accelerated up in CS. Chiefs definitely just playing the way that they want to play. Spooks facilitating his strong laners, and everyone else doing their job.
And Chiefs are one of the few teams that we haven't criticized for not being able to close out games. So far in their matches, when they get a nice lead like this, they're able to clinically close up the match. Barring 1 or 2 exceptional situations. But Avant Garde, their time to strike was really in that laning phase. Try and go toe-to-toe against the Chiefs. We saw bottom lane tried for Blinky and Jake. Almost taking down Ejim once or twice.
I mean, I still think they have an area if it goes to extreme late game.
Yes.
You don't want to play extreme late game against a Gangplank and a Corki particularly. They're just so strong. However, for the next like 30 minutes, if the gold stays 5,000 apart, the Chiefs just have so many advantages.
And the Chiefs are looking to try and increase their advantage at the moment by taking down a Mountain Dragon. Good Dragon to pick up 16 minutes into the game when you are this far ahead. Going to make taking objectives a lot easier.
Also gives you access to Baron, which is incredibly potent as a 1-3-1. Zyra, comms always have to look out for Baron, especially when there's an Ivan on the team. He can just put a plan over the top of him, hide him away from all his friends. Now Swiffer going 2v2.
Stand United comes out as well. Series going to get jumped on by the ultimate. Doesn't take too much damage, but there's a big taunt flash from Swiper. Series gets ignited, and Swiffer gets the kill on top of that.
Yeah, and you can see that the Chiefs really dove for the top laner of Avant Garde. Burning double summoner spells, actually triple to get across there in the end. They want him.
Here's the kind of call. Blinky's just going to kill some Raptors, or Ejim has to be very careful. Not going to get that final shot coming through. Exhaust goes down. Daisy is pummeling away. Tries to smite the good old Burrs, but they fight back and bite him with their little bigs. And Chiefs pick up a kill onto Avant Garde's jungler.
Yeah, and you feel like if the Raptors weren't there, maybe it goes a little bit differently. However, they were putting in serious work. There was a couple of plants as well that got ulted by Ejim, so of course doing more damage as Jake takes so much. Obviously running Deathfire Touch this time, Raze, because he took a couple of return shots.
I thought he was moving extra quick after that once.
Was he?
Storm Ready to Surge. Yes, he is. He is taking Storm Ready to Surge.
There you go. So not going to take a couple of shots. That was just a carryover.
Meanwhile, we can see Chiefs at the moment. 3 turrets, a dragon, and 7 kills to absolutely nothing on Avant Garde. If they can keep this up, this might be a perfect game in what is considered to be the game of the week here, Spot.
Yeah, it certainly could be the case as Spooks has to flash over the wall.
You see Swiper laughing a little bit.
Who's the worst ninja? Shen or Ivan? Because that was so bad.
Is Ivan a ninja?
I don't know. He's
I
supposed
know,
to
he's
be
a
hidden
tall,
in his
lanky
brush.
fellow who just walks around. I think you could spot him from a mile away. Somehow his brushes are magical and can hide like a 200-foot beast.
What is Baron?
I don't know. A worm-looking thing?
Apart from
Many
Roshan
eyes?
spelled backwards.
I don't know. He's a weird fellow, Spawn. He's angry a lot though.
He is.
Doesn't like people.
I definitely would rather live with Harold than Baron, that's for sure. If I had to share the pit.
Ooh.
Really?
I'd rather share it with Baron. Have you seen Harold? I think he's taken more lives than Baron has.
Nah, me and Harold, we'll do arms day together. That guy bops people. You know, he never skips arm day. And have you seen his legs? He actually has the same gym philosophy as me. Give us a look at Harold. He has tiny legs. Observers want nothing to do with us right now.
Like, please abort. Please abort. But now that the Chiefs are just trying to increase their goal lead, nice. Oh, no.
Oh, no, he's gone. He's not
there. We just got Fog of War on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look how tiny his legs are. That guy never has done leg stay in his life.
Do you have a giant eye on your back as well, just to kind of spot everything that's going on behind you?
Shelby's in some trouble.
He's going to get locked down. Deathmark comes out from Super, avoids a lot of the damage. You can see Redemption coming out to try and heal him up as well. Back to half health. Even takes down Shelby on top of that. And 4 members of Avant Garde can't take him down. As Swiper and Raze work together to take down the top laner as well.
Yeah, exactly right. So across the map right now, Chiefs firmly in control. You have to think that maybe the game plan a little bit... Oh, Harold goes back to his base.
Going to
That's
do
all
some on days.
Going to go
pick up the
gym.
dumbbells.
Yeah, you have to think that maybe this early game strategy a little bit, you know, miscalculated because the Chiefs, with added map pressure and no tank on AV's lineup at this stage of the game, have certainly been bullied around. Wow. Bullied around.
Swiffer denies.
Perfect game.
Perfect game for the Chiefs as he gets shut down by Triple on the top lane. But still, Chiefs are able to take down more objectives for themselves. Just stacking the tier.
Yep.
Confusing, but just stacking it to see.
As we take a look what happened, looks like Triple just Valks on him. Yeah, really nicely played actually. Hits double skill shots at the start. Valks on him, gets an exhaust out just because the burst out of Zed can be surprising at times. Able to pick up a clinical kill. So well done from Triple. He's up 20 CS as well. Maybe one of the remaining bright spots for this otherwise pretty lackluster AV game.
Yep, certainly has been. This game plan pick definitely hasn't paid off for Avant Garde either. I mean, Series looked like he was trying to go full scaling with the extra health from the Sterix Gauge, which he's looking to pick up. The Cull that was completed earlier as well, but just not working out for them. Spook's going to get locked down here. Triple looking for good damage. Not going to have enough to take him down without going into kill territory of Raze and Ejim.
Yeah, Curtain Call wasn't available. Was looking for that out of Blinky, but definitely not off cooldown, so you can understand why they didn't want to hard commit. However, now they're finally grouped as 5, and I think this is the right call. Chiefs have far superior 1-3-1. You need to pressure them underneath turrets and see if they can rotate.
And this is while... Oh no, Raze still does have blue buffs, so that's slowly going to
Initiation.
be able to work in their favor. Swiffer goes in, Blinky taking a lot of damage to kick things off. Spooks is on top of him. Sirius has been hit by Swiffer's death mark. He's going to get taken down really low as they take down almost every single member of Avant Garde. A triple kill comes out from the mid laner. Swiper is looking for triple himself, but it's going to be Chiefs with 4 for nothing in that team fight.
And that was all set up from Ejim. We said, where is the initiation coming from? It was a flash over the Raptor wall, able to get a double snare into a huge ultimate, split up the team in the chaos. The 2 flanking members of Spooks and Swiffer able to clean up the back line. And that's going to be a Baron at 22 minutes into the game. And what, a 12,000 gold lead?
Nice and strong coming out from the Chiefs. Very clinical, I should say, this match has been so far. And I mean, we were talking about why is there no Kha'Zix? Well, because Shen can just do this.
Watch the bottom of the map, dives in. It was actually only a 1-man ult. Then on the other side of the map, I mean, they were just able to clean up everyone. Swiffer and Spooks teaming up on the top side of the map, the rest of the team bottom side of the map, and really nicely played from the Chiefs. I mean, you can see that they're very well practiced in the 1-3-1. Their collapses look crisp. That was kind of the final question that AV could throw at them, and they definitely had the answers.
And now Chiefs looking to just try and push this mini wave down mid. Daisy's here as well, trying to tank up some damage from these turrets. Goodbye, Daisy. You are going to die.
Eventually.
Unfortunately.
Very tanky.
Very, very unfortunate, though. Well, Daisy just sent a suicide mission and gets nothing out of it to kick things off. Swiffer still split pushing the top side of the map. Does have Baron buff for himself, so that turret's going to fall. And we also have Swiper doing the exact same thing.
You can see that Shelby wanted in on the back line. Maybe had a window. Swiffer would have had to run down, and there's no stand united, so it would have meant a teleport. However, they don't get the initiation they're looking for. And actually it looks like a Trinity Force is going to come out of Swiper. I mean, I feel like that's almost BM.
Almost.
Thoughts?
Yeah, maybe. Let's see if he actually completes it first, as Ejim's going to be the first one to get jumped on. Will be destroyed by Triple. Avant pulled the trigger in the 1-3-1, but Swiper's joined the fight. Takes down Triple in return. Swiffer's here as well. Gone to Deathmark on top of Blinky. That's going to pop, but misses the shurikens for that bit of extra damage. Stand United comes out. He just jumps back to a shadow. Both the ninjas get back to safety.
Yeah, so in the end, they lose one member. They're able to pick up 3 in return, as well as break into the base. This is going to be the first inhibitor going down. Bottom lane goes down simultaneously from Raze, and top lane has a huge creep wave there. I mean, the world is really the Chiefs' oyster right now.
The next inhibitor is going to fall here. Daisy gets taken down there, but no blue buff for Jake as he kills that one. Top lane already taken a massive beating. Chiefs ping out the Air Dragon, or Cloud Dragon as to say, but they just go back to base because they are 15,000 gold up at this point of the game.
Yeah, they're well and truly in control. And I mean, AV, this shouldn't be too disheartening for them. They can just go back, pick a different composition, you know, maybe a tank top laner, play a little bit more standard and see what the answer is out of the Chiefs. Because you could see that the early rotations with those teleports into the bottom lane were just more than the game plan could really go with after he'd been camped out.
And, I mean, we've seen Series play tanks before. I mean, a couple of his solo kills were on tanks up in the top lane. Doesn't necessarily have to pick up those carries.
I mean, he's a good Poppy player, he's a good Maokai player, agree with the sentiment. I mean, he's also a great Tryndamere player, and I've seen him play earlier, things like that. So, yeah, he can play other things, but definitely doesn't have to go towards a tank.
But Swiper's shown that he's very comfortable in whatever matchup he's given up in the top lane. He did pick up the Trinity Force here, so he does want to style on people. 3-0-6 right now, Swiper.
I mean, when you're up that many levels against the rest of the map, he's level 15. I mean, Blink is level 12, Chubby's 11, 13 for series. You can generally just rely on your superior levels to make you tanky. That catches up, of course, because everyone ends at level 18. But by then, looks like the Chiefs might have been able to close out this game. Only 25 minutes in, we said 28 is a real shellacking. Like, that's when you're being able to control the pace from start to finish. And are definitely on pace for that.
And I mean, when you are 52,000 gold to 37,000 gold at the moment, 16-2, 8 turrets to none, and all the dragons in the game, Avant just had no way to get into this match at all. It's just been the Chiefs show the entire time. Triple does have the packet and is going in. They separate Raze from the fight. He's going to be the first one to fall. Triple almost goes down in the meantime, but they do lose 2 of their members. A double kill for Egypt.
Swiffer is flying into the back line.
And so is Swiper. They take down Chelby on top of that. That's 3 kills, and the Chiefs just say, let's give up this turret, guys, because we're going straight for the Nexus, boys.
Yeah, they've already got super creeps here. This is some I prepared earlier, they say. They're going to be able to push in. Game 1 in 26 minutes will go to the Chiefs.
Absolute shellacking and more as they finish at 2 minutes before the time you have stipulated spawn. As the Chiefs go for a little bit of a tower dive. Swiffer's going to get taken down, but the Nexus is going to fall eventually.
Yeah, you could tell that they really wanted that kill in the Nexus. Swiffer was giggling his head off, as is Swiper on your screen. But one more time. Oh. Oh.
Ooh, even Spook's joining in on there. I mean, he was very vocal that this is just another match for him. He's just going to show people why he is still the best top laner in the OPL series. Didn't have a game that we expected from him heading into this match.
I mean, he got shoved out early. The Shen's 1-3 is very strong. We saw that, you know, that Doran shield start certainly shut down the game plank. And then just with that gank, I mean, he was set behind the 8-ball, had to burn the teleport, maybe when he wouldn't have liked to. That just means that the map was open. And when the Chiefs get an open map, when they can drag you around, make you play their game, they're nearly unstoppable.
Absolute clinical game coming out from the Chiefs in game 1, but it's still a best-of-3 series. For now, to break down that game, let's throw it back to Hingers and the rest of the analysts.
There we have it. Game 1 goes to the Chiefs over Avant Garde. If you're just joining us, you've missed a complete shellacking, as Spawn described it there. And Mendrix, T-Gun, let's talk about the Chiefs' early game, because obviously looked very weak in this first game. Obviously, it was a real mess. Got to clean it up. What are they doing?
I think, like we were saying before, inconsistency might be a problem. Well, that was just that was them performing at almost max capacity. Right?
I think they're just all the cannons were loaded. Everything was just firing for these guys today. They were playing amazingly.
To borrow a quote from Fish from a few games earlier, they were just hitting their buttons really well. That's all it was.
Got to hit them buttons to play that game. All right, well, let's take a look at the draft, shall we? Bring it up on your screen, because I want to ask about a few things. This Z pick seems to be coming back up and up. We talked to the coach, Volt from the Chiefs, and he said it's a pretty favourable matchup into Corki. Tegan, give us your thoughts on this, because obviously in the last couple of weeks we've seen Zed all over the place.
Not just Corky, it's also really great against Gangplank in the split, so that might have influenced as well. And it's also, as a champion, Swift's just comfortable. He plays it a lot. He's played it for a long time. So why not give him a strong champion that he's comfortable on, that has favorable matchups all over the place, that he can split on and just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, absolutely. We know that Swiffer is one of the best mid laners, or if not the best mid laner at the moment. So it makes sense to give him an assassin that he can outplay on, that he can push his buttons really well to help him get the win. I mean, he even managed to get to solo kill early, which was amazing.
Yeah, you also look at the AV comp, and talking upstairs to some of the guys, I was saying, look, the way they've picked Rek'Sai and then not picked a tank top lane suggests that perhaps AV went in with this thought and they weren't really responding. They were just, this is the game we want to play. This is the draft we want to play, I should say.
What I like to say about that is I think the idea was they wanted to get series on a carry. When you pick up a tank jungler, it sort of suggests that either A, you're going to have a really heavy tank line, or you're planning to get a carry top. And Chiefs already responded to this. They banned out Fiora, they banned out Jace. So they said, you know what, you can't take a favorable carry into Swiper at this point in time. And what ended up happening is they said, okay, well, if we can't get those specific champions, let's pick up Gangplank, who can match the global pressure.
Yeah, I think they just tunneled too hard on getting him a carry champion. He's done really well on them. Don't get me wrong, he's really good. But at some point, you have to say, well, we're not going to get a favorable matchup here. Where can we shift to? Where else can we look for strengths? Because triple's really good. Why aren't they thinking maybe we can play through mid instead of top? Maybe they can put more pressure on their jungle, their bot lane, instead of having what is essentially a really one-dimensional look at the game and work from there.
Absolutely. Well, across the map from series in that top lane, let's talk about the bottom lane. And Mendrix, tell us about this bot lane dive on Blinky.
So this is specifically the early game getting really strong for the Chiefs, and them just being so decisive, being very confident, specifically coming in. And as you can see there, they do manage to get a quick kill on the side of it, which is excellent from that. But I think that was Blinky dying a bit early, and we expected Blinky to die in the bot lane when there was actually a dive coming through from Spooks.
Lot of different deaths to choose from, obviously. Look, you know,
That's a lot of shade being
a lot of different deaths coming through.
I'm just saying it can get confusing. I'm not trying to be, you know, obviously, look, there are people much smarter than me running the control room. I don't want to throw shade at them, obviously.
They just die so much, we just forget where everything is.
Exactly, you know. All right. Well, let's talk about this mid lane fight leading that takes them into Baron, Mendrix, then. Talk us through what's important about this.
All right, so what's specifically great about this is the lead up of the two engages that you've got here. You've got two forms, one from Ejim using the flash over the wall, and the other coming through from Swiffer, also coupled with Swiper on his Stand United. Those two there just absolutely pincered AV to oblivion. They were absolutely outclassed in that initial engage, and that led to the Baron, which really led to that final commanding lead that the Chiefs had built up.
And the big thing there is everyone committed. It wasn't just one person thinks they can pick and then another one just trickles in. Everyone went in all at the same time, really decisively, and that's what you need to do. That's how a really good team just wins games and just tramples over the opponent.
All right, before we get out of here, I want to ask you about AV. What do they take away from this first loss? Because obviously you've been outplayed, you're feeling pretty bad. We want to talk after the break about how they're going to get back into this, but what are they supposed to take away?
They just have to reset. They can't look at that game from an analytical point of view and take away a lot because they just lost everywhere. It's as simple as that. There was not a real great point to take away from that game. So they need to reset, look at the game anew, and just try and come in with a really, really fresh mindset.
And they really need to look at it in terms of, instead of saying, all right, we've got a lot of hype on series at the moment. Well, when series was playing, it really was them playing a more standard sort of game and him getting the kills off the back of it. What you need to do is just, again, reset, put it down and play more standard, because GB, although he's great, isn't the most meta pick at the moment. I guess he's very unorthodox. We've seen him quite a bit in the OPL specifically, but he's not really picked that much internationally.
All right. Well, maybe we'll see if Tobias Fate has more influence over the OPL picks and drafts. The Chiefs are up 1-0 over Avant Garde right now. We're back with game 2 right after this.
Flashes on forward, throws out the shuriken to take down Triple in a solo kill mid lane. Well, Series gonna get jumped on by the ultimate. Doesn't take too much damage, but there's a big taunt flash from Swiper. Series gets ignited and Swiffer gets the kill on top of that.
Yeah.
Because Swiffer goes in, Blinky taking a lot of damage to kick things off. Spooks is on top of him. Series being hit by Swiffer's death mark. He's gonna get taken down really low as they take down almost every single member of Avant Garde. A triple kill comes out from the mid laner. Swiper is looking for triple himself, but it's gonna be Chiefs with 4 for nothing in that team fight. Triple does have the packet and is going in. They separate Raze from the fight. He's going to be the first one to fall. Triple almost goes down in the meantime, but they do lose 2 of their members. A double kill for Egypt.
Swiffer is flying into the back
And
line.
so is Swiper. They take down Shelby on top of that. That's 3 kills, and the Chiefs just say, let's give up this turret, guys, because we're going straight for the Nexus, boys.
Look within yourself. What do you see? Is your soul a fading light? Strengthened by fury, hardened by heat. Search deeper now. What do you see?